My last show, we got down to 900. Coach put me on 900 calories, and two of those meals were shakes, dude. That was a rough time.
I honestly, I think about that a lot because the first 7, 8 weeks of this diet, they were actually really easy for me. I was sitting there being like, I don't understand why people bitch about this prep diet. Like, this is cake. We got a posing thing going next week, so he was like making sure he knew my availability so we could get that shit taken care of, because that's my weak point for sure.
That's everybody's weak point on their first show, for sure.
Yeah.
Are you guys meeting with that guy, Perfect Posing?
No, Shadows, Mr. Shadows, or whatever. No, it's
Yeah,
we're
Mr.
meeting
Shadows,
with
him.
a guy. I think he said his name was Chemo. He goes to our gym. He's a pro.
The
But
Hawaiian guy?
What's that?
The Hawaiian guy?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, he just did a posing class with Omar Ventura. The dude who trains Lucky Libra and Raymond and all them. So he's gonna come hook me up and teach me how to stoop my feet and how to fall into my poses better and shit like that.
Perfect. Yeah, that's the hardest part. Practice every. I'm sure
Absolutely.
you've been practicing every day, but
Yeah, I have, but it still needs a lot of work.
yeah, for sure. So I'm going to start this out by saying, welcome to today's episode of Kyle Does Fitness. That's 702, and today we're with John Sevano again. It's Sevano. Right?
It's Saviano, but it don't matter.
Saviano. All right. Well, Saviano is way better than Sevano, I think. But anyways, so you're about to do your first show, physique, and you're going to be in men's physique, I assume, not classic or anything. I don't think you have big enough legs for that.
Yeah, my coach was Mark. Was telling me, we could do classic, but like in my head, you got to be having tree trunk legs. Like mine are all right. They're good. They're not bad, but like men's physique is where I'm going to be most comfortable. Posing is going to be a problem already. So like the classic has such advanced posing.
It's your whole body. It's head to toe. You have to have posed at once. So
exactly. So
that's actually something to be a marker. We're going to see how I look at the end of the winter, right? And after, and see, maybe I'll even go in as a classic and do men's physique or something. We were talking about. We'll just see how my legs look.
Yeah, I think classic would be a lot of fun if you had the confidence in posing. But this being my first show, me not necessarily knowing that I want to do this more than once. I just want to go out and have a good time and bring the best that I can. And I think physique is 100% the way to go for that.
I think physique is fun anyways,
Exactly.
And if I compete in classic, I'm still going to do all, like, that'll just be like an extra one that I do, because I still want to do men's physique. So.
At my height too, the weight cap is like 225 for classic. Like if you're 225 lean on stage and I'm stepping on at 195, I'm looking.
How tall are you?
5'11" and some change.
So you're like,
yeah.
So
I'm not trying to be 30 pounds under where you're allowed to be,
Right. Yeah. Those guys are monsters for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm what, 200 right now. We're shooting for like 205, totally shredded. So yeah, if I go up there, I will be undersized for sure.
So, you're 6 footish too, right?
Yeah, I'm 5. They put me in 5'11". I think they put me in a shorter class last show, which actually was in my benefit, but
yeah, you'd rather be the bigger guy in your class than the shortest guy.
Yeah. Well, the shorter guys, their muscle packs on a little bit better though.
Yeah, for sure. But you don't want to be the short guy in your class, is what I'm saying.
No, definitely.
Because the classes are what, like in 2 inches or something at most.
They're 2 inches until you hit 6 foot, and then at least I know for novice classes, it's like 6 foot up.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So you were doing, what show are you doing?
I'm doing the Las Vegas Classic, Steve Carr. It's November 6th, so I'm currently 37 days out. 37. I've been prepping since July 27th. The first few weeks, was just by myself to get my metabolism going. But I've been with Mark now for 7 weeks and feeling good about that.
Mark is your first trainer that you've hired, right? from my
Yes.
understanding? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your whole gym career.
Everything I've ever done has all been on my own, learning through like what we had talked about last time, learning through YouTube or what I could pick up, talking to people that knew what they were doing at the gym and soaking that up like a sponge.
Nice. Yeah. Um, and then you were doing a show after that? You're doing 2 shows, right?
No,
No. Okay. Oh,
not,
that was Robert. That's just Robert doing 2 shows.
yeah. Robert's doing, he's doing the Reno show, which is in like 9 days or something.
Oh, so he's ready.
And then 4 weeks later will be the Steve Carr for him also.
All right. Cool. So how long have you been training though? But even without, whatever, but just in general?
Yeah, I'm just about at 6.5 years.
Oh, okay.
Start to finish. So I started off about 135, 140 pounds. And when I'm not shredded to the bone, I'm walking around at about 220 now.
Yeah. Yeah, you're smaller than I've seen you in a long time for sure right now, but you just look.
I think ever, honestly, like when I'm waking up and I'm dry and, don't have 4 or 5 meals in me already, I'm pretty tight everywhere. I did a cheat meal yesterday. Coach gave me a cheat meal and I still woke up under 200 this morning.
Right. You would gain like 3 pounds or something. That's all water anyways.
Yeah.
I seen it. What, you were 197 and then 199. So even just a couple pounds.
Yeah. Nothing.
That's my favorite. Coming up the weeks, it's like trying to pull at your skin of your stomach and it's just nothing. You can't pull it. That's my favorite. So speaking of the diet, how's that going? You're probably not on too much of a calorie deficit right now? Too crazy?
Actually, I am eating less calories than I'm like in a deficit for. I'm actually like, I burn on average, I would say 44 to 4,500 calories a day. I'm eating
with the cardio, I would assume.
With the cardio and my work, I get at least 10, 12,000 steps a day at work. And I'm eating between 2,000 and 2,200. So I'm in about a 2,000 calorie a day deficit.
My last show, we got down to 900. Coach put me on 900 calories and 2 of those meals were shakes, dude. That was a rough time.
I think about that a lot because the first 7-8 weeks of this diet, they were actually really easy for me. I was sitting there being like, I don't understand why people bitch about this prep diet. Like, this is cake. And the last 3 weeks or so, I've had my moments of weakness. I haven't gone and cheated or nothing like that, but I've struggled. I've gotten frustrated with customers at work, and I'm driving home from the gym and it's mealtime and I'm freaking out as to why someone's not driving 30 over the speed limit. And so I think about that and I'm like, dude, I'm on 2,200. Kyle did 900 for like 2 fucking weeks. Like, hang in there. You're still in a good spot.
Yeah. The clan helped when I was on that for sure to keep my motivation up. So
yeah. I'm not on clan.
No, well, it's the last like week or 2.
Yeah. I got a little stat going for sure. I'm on some shit, but I'm not on clan yet.
Yeah.
So
what's the worst part, would you say? Like, what's the part where you're like, man, I just didn't think it was going to be that bad or whatever? Is it just the diet? Is just being hungry all the time and angry? Or
it's as weird as it's going to sound, it's the days when I do carbs, because right now I'm on a carb cycle where I'm doing 2 days of 0 carbs and fat servings, and on the 3rd day I have no additional fats outside of what would be in my ground turkey or whatever, and I'm having 3 servings of carbs. And I know those are the days that are supposed to refill your glycogen cells and make your body fuller and happier, but like on those days, not having the fat to like satiate into my body or whatever, they're very hard for me, and I feel lower on energy and I feel more agitated. And being at work is really what kills me. I can sit at home and be hungry. That's cool. I'll put on a movie, scroll through my phone, whatever, look at motivation, watch Machiavelli motivation, whatever. And then my 2.5, 3 hours have passed and I'm okay. I can go eat that fucking cat fucking sized bowl of food. But when I'm at work, just having to put on that fake smile and, oh, hi, welcome to the hash house. Have you been here before? Can I bring you a fucking 36-inch pancake covered in syrup and butter that I'm not allowed to fucking eat? That gets to me,
I seen your post the other day about all the food at work.
They've been bringing it, bro. Like the managers and the hostess, that they'd be bringing boxes of donuts. We had one of our managers leave and they brought two. Bro, they were 48-inch round pizzas, two of them, like 100.
They do that at my work like every other week.
It's constant. And they're bringing the flavored coffees and all, which I don't mind. I can avoid that. But like, it's the constant being around food porn that's not on my phone. That's just like literally right there in front of me. And I can get the stickiness of the syrup on my hand when I'm running. It's like, that's difficult for me, honestly. I'm staying strong. I'm not going to eat none of that shit. But like, I feel like that fucks with my mood.
Dude,
like, I get frustrated about it, and I'm then have to pretend fake happy. So
I commented on the other day, but you posted about like that you almost cried about food the other day. Dude, that just brought back memories of like the first couple weeks of my last cut, and I just wasn't sleeping and shit. And I was just like fucking. I was so mad, dude. And just, I wanted to cry. I just remember sitting there one day in my truck, just sitting there, really contemplating it. And that moment when I like almost cried about food, I was like, there's gotta be something better. Right. And that's when I really kind of like dug into the Greg Doucette diet portion. And I switched over to just eating, dude, I ate like a head of lettuce a day. Like, just a head of lettuce every single day just to fucking fill up my stomach, dude.
Yeah.
That's what kept me going. Do you have any kind of anything to keep you satiated? Oh, also, I was going to say before we went into that, the days that you eat fats, the fats actually slow down breaking down your food and extends it for a longer period of time. That's why you feel so much better on fat days, even though you're eating less calories and whatever, but it's just smoother. It regulates your sugar, everything.
Yeah. I feel way better on fat days. Like I woke up this morning and got the peanut butter out to put in my shake, because I do a 10 egg whites and a serving and a half of peanut butter with a little bit of monk fruit sweetener and cinnamon. And I pulled the peanut butter out, and then I remembered it was a high carb day. And I was like, it was the most disappointing thing having to put that back.
You put the oatmeal in there, right, though?
So today, I talked to Mark last week, and he said I could swap out servings for rice cakes. So today I did all rice cakes for my carbs, just because I feel like I'm getting more bites in, So
have you switched to cooking your eggs yet? You haven't.
But I did it one day. I cooked all the eggs. I threw some green beans in there, and then I had to cook the oatmeal though too. Yeah. And then all of a sudden I was like, holy fuck, I'm stupid full. Yeah. Like almost too full. And so I'm going to do that a few more times, especially.
I found a good ratio. If you're like not super starving in the morning, when you do that, is like half cook, half shake. I do that a lot, because it's the same thing that the oatmeal fills you up real quick.
Yeah. I ate the eggs first too. And then I had that giant bowl of oatmeal, and I was like, oh, and honestly, I put even more sweetener than I normally would in there, and I just did not enjoy a single bite of the oatmeal. So I'm going to be drinking that, but I'm definitely going to cook the eggs some more on my days off. I get up too early for work to do it on a work day, but
those blended the oatmeal egg whites in the morning, dude, they take 2 minutes. They're the best.
They taste great.
I mean, even today, I'm in Newport right now, and first thing I did is I went to Trader Joe's and got egg whites. I didn't have a blender or stevia though, and egg whites out of a carton, not as good at all.
No.
It was pretty nauseous. But then I went, I found I don't know. Have you ever been to a self-made in Vegas, self-made training facility?
I have not.
So I went to the one out here, which I guess it's all like personal trainers only. Like you're supposed
Mm,
to go there and have like a personal trainer. But I went in there and one of the guys was like, yeah, you can work out. I paid him for $40. And it's nice equipment for sure. I know a couple of coaches, people went there. So
going back to the show prep and stuff,
yeah.
how many shows have you done so far?
So I'm on my second show that I've completed. First show was a little weird. We went through it was right like when COVID hit,
Mm-hmm.
and we were supposed to do it at the hotel, and we went there. We got our first coat of spray tan. We checked in, we measured, we got weighed in, and then that night the governor at like 5:30 called the hotel and said you can't have that there. You can't do that. So they canceled that show, and they ended up doing it. They found like a hookah lounge overnight, and
Oh,
they
mhm.
built like a little stage, and we did. It was cool that they put it on. I felt a little cheated for my first show, but at least I went all the way through, and I got fourth place my first show, second place my second show, which I just did
Mhm.
the Patriots Challenge, and then this winter I'm going through a bulk with Mark, and then coming into March, April, we're going to do
Are
the
you doing this the Samson?
we're doing the Arnold and then the Samson, I think, right
Okay.
after. And then those are both qualifying shows. So if I qualify, if I get third in my class or better, I qualify to get a pro card. And if I qualify, then I'm going to go on to at least, try to compete in a pro show and try to get, try to get my pro card.
Absolutely.
So that's my goal going forward.
So, and for that, you need to get third place overall in your class.
I need to get third place in my class, not overall in the show, but just in my class. And
Okay.
then that qualifies me to go to a show that gives out pro cards.
Okay. Because see, I'm still a little bit uh green when it comes to that kind of stuff. Like I don't understand who gets what qualifications, and I'm not really sure how a lot of it honestly works. Like I know that what categories I'd like to compete in. I'm over 40 years old, so I want to do masters over 40. Um, and I want to compete in overall if Mark thinks I'm ready. I don't want to just throw money away to be overall, but I would rather if I'm only putting my eggs in two baskets and Mark thinks I'm ready enough, I would rather compete in overall than novice, just personally, because if I only do this once, I really want to see where the fuck I'm at, see where the chips fall. But I also know that I'd like to do the over 40 because I'm an old fucking man. And
That was actually a question of mine that you kind of touched on a little bit. What is your motivation to do this show? You never
um,
really told me that.
honestly, it was just a test in self-discipline. I got a lot of friends who compete or competed, they do this, and I talked to them about it a lot, and I wanted to see if I had the self-discipline to put myself through this, to stick to the diet when my wife's eating cookies next to me, which she literally just was.
One of the crumble cookies?
Oh, bro, you know it. So I wanted to see if I had that. And I also wanted the experience. So when they're talking about it, I'm not just that asshole who's fucking putting an opinion in that has no business putting an opinion into how they're feeling about something. When they're saying, oh, I feel like this because of this, I like to at least be able to say, I understand, like this is what I did that helped me, or this is what someone told me that helped me. I don't know if it'll help you, but there's my goose egg contribution. And my buddy, I don't know how well you know him, but Shane Silverback worked out at our gym, but now lives in Texas. He's prepping right now, and we go back and forth a lot, just keeping each other
Minds in check.
yeah, exactly. Like he's like, bro, I'm having a hard day. I'm like, bro, you look great. Like you're just in your head. I was in my head yesterday, or, I'll write him and be like, bro, I'm feeling fucking like I don't have this down. And he actually, I sent him a picture of me hitting my back pose. And he was like, bro, you look like you're riding a fucking motorcycle, keep your elbows down and do this and this, and it'll increase the thickness. And then the next day I checked in with Mark, which would be yesterday, and I hit the pose the way he told me. Mark says your back pose is perfect. So now I'm like, I have someone to help keep me accountable, and I help keep him accountable, and we just keep each other on track, and that helps a lot,
Yeah. Yeah. No, that back pose, once you get it, Mark always says shows are one from the back. But once you get that back pose, man, it's like you just like gotta do a row and then just go into it. That's if you don't do like that row motion and get into it, I don't think you get like that.
Yeah. Well, once you're doing that, you're feeling everything activate, and then you just got to open. But I was doing that, but then I was coming way out here feeling like I was getting wider. Yeah. And really, I'm just taking away from that thickness.
And sometimes this actually, just the elbows actually makes it wider too. So it doesn't have to be the motorcycle ride. And you see the guys out there that do the motorcycle ride, like pose, and they just never place well,
Absolutely.
They just weren't doing that. So I guess he kind of answered this, but and you haven't done the show yet. Would you do it again? From what you know now, you haven't done the show, right? So I get that you don't know the whole thing. When the week of, and I'm curious about that. The week of is some people, when they completely deplete of carbs, are just like, like you don't want to move, you don't want to turn your head, and then some people are just like, yeah, I'm kind of hungry, but it's okay. But they still have their energy. So I'm kind of curious to see because that last week is the one that kills you.
Yeah.
Do you think
as of right now, would I do it again? Depends on what the stakes were. If I go to this show and do very well and maybe have this opportunity to go do a pro show or something, it might be something I would consider. Would I do this again and put myself through it just to put myself through it again? I'm not sure, honestly, because something that I'm missing, the thing that I feel most devoid of in my life is the opportunities to hang out with my wife. We like to go out and have dinner together and have a beer. Not that I miss alcohol. I don't. It's just I miss the social time with my wife. I miss being able to go to get a crumble cookie with her, or sitting down at the mall food court and having a Cinnabon. So I miss, that was kind of like an intimate time, not obviously a sexually intimate time, but a time where we sat down and it was just me and her. And it's hard to do that with a food prep tub, So that's something I miss a lot. And I'm looking forward to getting back in 5 weeks. But if there was an opportunity to make gain from going through this again, rather than what I just chose to do is to see if I could do it, I don't feel like it's outside of my ability to discipline and to go through. So I might do it again, given the circumstances.
Right. Yeah, no, I get. It's hard. I got 2 kids, both under the age of 8, and a girlfriend. So I get it. It takes a lot of tenacity to just be able to diet so hard, right? I know my last show, I took my daughter to ice cream a couple times, but just the worst part about prep for me is in those last couple of weeks when I'm so hungry and I have just no patience with my kids. That's the word. I just feel like I'm a bad dad because I'm just so impatient. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. I was a single dad for a long time. My daughter's 21 now.
Right.
So I don't, she moved out. I'm not in that parenting role, but I would, I come home from work in the gym. When I go home from the gym, I'm a fucking sack of potatoes. It's all I can do to make my food. So if I was having to also sit down and do math homework, or, any of those activities that kids want to do, have a tea party or whatever, it would be rough for me, or I guess kids don't do that as much, but play the rock star on fucking Wii or whatever it is.
Right.
I wouldn't have the energy for that. And I completely relate with how you would feel about that situation,
Yeah. I guess I got one last question. We'll end it here. Somebody that hasn't done a show and is thinking about it, would you recommend it for everybody, or what would you say to somebody either thinking about it or looking at it, or what do you think?
Now, I don't think that this would be for everybody. I don't think that just because you go to the gym, you should compete. But I do think, and from what I've spoken with about everyone who has competed, that it's a very, very rewarding process. Putting yourself through it, knowing you can do that, that builds mental tenacity. It builds character. And everyone says that those few minutes up on stage were such a big high, so addicting that, I haven't talked to anybody honestly who's actually finished their show and been like, I don't want to do it again. Everyone seems to want to do it again. So if you have that competitor spirit, and if you love bodybuilding and the competitive aspect of it, I would recommend it. And I would say the most important thing is to find a supportive coach, have a good support system, because without, my wife being here and being supportive and being like, you can do it. I know you're tired, but get the fuck up and go do your cardio. It would be more difficult. So if you got the right support system, you have a coach who's there for you, and you have this desire to see what competitive bodybuilding is about, I would say absolutely do a show.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I would also say is, even if you were to be a natural competitor in this, it's not a healthy thing to put yourself through such a rigorous training thing. So I would just urge people to, if there is their first show or whatever, be very careful. If they do decide to go down the rabbit hole of pharmacology, do the research. I was listening to Derek with More Plates, More Dates the other day, and there was some coach on the East Coast that like 2 or 3 of his competitors died right after the show. Because he had these girls on DMP, which girls don't take DMP, first of all, right? And like the diuretic schedule and all this, the diuretics, it's not usually like the steroids and stuff that fuck you up. It's the diet.
Absolutely.
The diuretic.
It's the water flushing and the diuretics on top of that. And this really harsh, over the top protocol that if your coach knew what he was doing all along, you shouldn't need to go through. You shouldn't need to be taking diuretics and stuff. There's a healthy way to reduce your water in your body a few days before the show. You shouldn't be having to do crazy, harsh things. And if your coach is focused on drug protocols over hard work and things like that, that's not a good person to be with. I 100% agree. Now, I am taking steroids right now. I'm on a few different compounds. But the main thing that's been pushed is minimal time use. Like, I thought I was going to be on gear for 12, 13 weeks. Not even half of that time, honestly. Like, I just started this stuff and I'm 5 weeks out, so we got me where I need to be with hard work and cardio and diet, obviously. But so you got to have a coach who knows what they're doing. Don't go with someone who's going to push your body to some crazy extreme for 30 seconds of glory.
And don't take their word for it.
Absolutely. Talk to the other athletes.
They will lie to you for their reputation.
Of course they will. Absolutely.
So if they give you a protocol, ask somebody else that you know.
Absolutely.
Just get that second opinion. I can't urge that more than anybody.
And read up on everything you're about to take.
Yeah.
Like, you should know that as well as you know anything. Like, this isn't a 1-a-day vitamin. These are like orals are liver toxic. Fucking injectables can cause all sorts of fucking problems. Like, absolutely.
And women, if they're not careful, can take androgenic steroids, right? And really fuck up their femininity.
You've gone to like the Olympia, right? Like
yeah.
And you can see the women, like, we always go to the expo, with all the booths and check out all the merch and shit. And you see the girls and, they're 40 years old and they sound more manly than I do. They got crazy jaw lines. I mean, they're physically built, and kudos to them for the hard work they had to put in to get there. But the protocol they did completely changed their femininity. And I'm not one to talk about, what a woman's body should or should not look like.
Right.
But certain drugs are not made for women that want to stay feminine. And I think that's part of what women's bodybuilding is being able to build a physique with femininity.
Right.
Still.
It is about, right, to me, those bigger classes with the women, that are really jacked. I mean, as far as traditional femininity, they're kind of pushing the envelope there, but I think this is about being healthy and not getting to that point. So
Agreed.
So, all right, man. Well, you have fun at the mall, and I'll see you next week.
All right, brother. Take care.
All right, man. Later.